Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're going to do Fast Break by Edward Hirsch. If you watch the video that I posted, the link to, he talks a lot about the reasons why he created this this poem. Sorry, my kids are up, so be aware. And so we're going to look at this poem. Now, I'll be honest with you. I taught this poem for many years, and I really honestly didn't know what a fast break was. Now that my son has been doing basketball, and somebody pointed out to me a couple years ago, it was like, fast breaks in basketball where like you break away and then you just make a run for it, and you know, nobody's around and you go from one side of the court to the other. Which now that he's in basketball, it makes complete and total sense to me. So I'm going to put down here, and my kids stole my purple pen. So I'm going to use this other pen today. I'm a little sad. Okay, so it's in basketball. What you're going to notice as we read it, well, I'm going to read it and then you can notice it. A hook shot kisses the rim and hangs there helplessly, but doesn't drop. And for once, our gangly starting center boxes out his man and times his jump, perfectly gathering the orange leather from the air like a cherished possession, and spinning around to throw a strike to the outlet who is already shoveling an underhand pass towards the other guard, scissoring past a flat-footed defender who looks stunned and nailed to the floor in the wrong direction, trying to catch sight of high-gliding dribble, a man letting the play develop in front of him in slow motion, almost exactly like a coach is drawing on the blackboard. Both forwards racing down the court the way that forwards should, fanning out and filling the lanes in tandem moving together as brothers, passing the ball between them without dribble, without a single bounce hitting the hard wood, until the guard finally lunges out and commits to the wrong man, while the power forward explodes past them in fury, taking the ball into the air by himself now and laying it gently against the glass for a layup, but losing balance in the process, inexplicably falling and hitting the floor with a wild headlong motion for the game he loved like a country, and swiveling back to see an orange blur floating perfectly through the net. Now, like I said, I didn't know a lot about basketball. Now that he's played basketball, I can actually really visualize this. So those of you that are into sports can probably understand it a little bit better. The first thing that you should notice as you read this is the imagery and the personification. You've got the personification of the hook shot kissing the ring, and it's hanging there. So if you've ever seen that, it goes up there and it kind of just circles the rim of the net, and then it just doesn't go right through the net, okay? So you've got the personification, and it's helpless, okay? And for once, our gangly starting center, okay? For once, this is his one shot. Like, this is the one time that this guy, and he's gangly, he's skinny, he's not the ripped guy playing. He's, you know, this is like the one time it happens, and he breaks away, and he's going to make the shot. So he boxes out his man this time and times his jump perfectly, gathering the orange leather, that's the ball, from the air, similarly like the cherished possession. Okay, beautiful. The imagery in this, like, hello, it's talking about basketball, okay, but it's a beautiful imagery. I know a lot of you love soccer, and think about how you could describe being on the field like that, and the one kid that never is out there gets the ball and makes a run across the field with the ball. It's the same kind of thing. Okay. And spinning around to throw a strike to the outlet, who's already shoveling an underhand pass toward the other guard and scissoring past a flat-footed defender. So again, look at these descriptions. He's shoveling, scissoring past, spinning around. These are strong verbs. Who looks stunned and nailed to the floor in the wrong direction. Okay, and I love that too, because have you ever seen where somebody's nailed to the floor? They just can't move, and this guy is in shock. Trying to catch a sight of a high gliding dribble, and a man letting the play develop in front of him in slow motion, almost exactly like a coach's drawing on the blackboard. So one from the playbooks. And like they always do these plays, but they never play out the way they want them to do. Both forwards racing down the court the way that forwards should. So both forwards, these are the players of the team, if you don't know that. Okay, they're supposed to run down the court to the other side, okay? Fanning out and filling the lanes in tandem. So they're supposed to spread out. Moving together as brothers passing the ball. And I love that imagery too, because they should be like brothers. They should be close-knit, working together. Ha ha ha, if you have brothers, that's not the case, but one day it will be. Between them, without a dribble, without a single bounce hitting the hard wood, until the guard finally lunges out and commits to the wrong man. So the guard is trying to block the ball from going in. He decides, okay, this guy's going to take the shot, and he lunges forward and realizes that's not what's going to happen. While the power forward explodes past them in a fury, look at these words, power forward. He explodes in a fury, taking the ball into the air by himself now, and laying it gently against the glass for a layup. So he just delicately takes it to lay it up into the net. But losing his balance in the process and inexplicably falling and hitting the floor. So he falls. With a wild headlong motion for the game he loved like a country, and swiveling back to see an orange blur floating perfectly through the net. So my non-sports people, the ball goes in. Okay, they showed teamwork. You've got the different sports positions in here. You've got it just is a perfect play. How about that alliteration? A perfect play. Now, there's no rhyme scheme. We talked yesterday, or the other day, depending on when you watch the video, about why Gwendolyn Brooks uses the couplets for We Real Cool, and that they signify unity and togetherness. Why would Edward Hirsch not use rhyme for this? First of all, it's a very serious play. Not a play, but a play. And so adding rhyme to it might take some of the seriousness away from the fast break. The other thing is that it's unscripted in a way. It's unpredictable. If we had rhyme scheme, we could predict what's going to happen next. But from the start of it, when the gangly kid gets the ball, we don't know what's going to happen. And if you had rhyme, you may know what's going to happen, and it seems like it's more forced. Okay, this is also free. It's what we call free verse. Okay, and so these gentlemen are making choices and making decisions, and they don't know what's going to happen. Okay. I want to also talk about punctuation in this. When we look at punctuation, I want you to find me how many sentences are in this poem. Okay, so you probably noticed there is only one sentence. Well, we talked about Gwendolyn Brooks's reasoning for her syntax. Remember, we talked about syntax before. Okay, I didn't bring up that term when we did We Real Cool, but your syntax is that this is one sentence. Think about, why would Edward Hirsch decide to make this one poem out of one sentence? Well, the reason is it happens fast. It's like a stream of consciousness, one thing, then the next, then the next, then the next. There's no time to pause. Because honestly, if you've ever watched basketball, this whole thing probably took 30 to 45 seconds. They don't have time to stop. They don't have time to think. So in this poem, the syntax really depicts the motion and the movement of the action. So you've got a different type of poem here. You've got a poem where we've got these strong verbs compared to we real cool. You've got description and imagery and a lot more words and one sentence, but you can see that in comparison to the two, they both use those literary devices that I've been making you study over and over and over. And you can see how skillfully, when you use it, it creates a purpose. That is my soapbox. Okay. So, I can draw my little basketball here for you. Ready? Nope. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this poem, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Miss you all.